I hope you can hear me.
I can hear you.
All right,
Can you hear me?
great. Yeah, I can too. All right, so now we're talking about building infrastructure for the next digital generation, and then we'll talk about internet costs. In Africa, internet cost is extremely expensive. Only America spend more than Africa in kind of data consumption. So what can be done to ensure that the price of internet is affordable for us in Africa?
Yeah, so thank you for having me. I think the conversation around infrastructure is very important because although we look at a lot of the benefits that technology can bring, alone, the app that you have in your hand is only good as the internet connection that you have, or the access that it can bring you and how connected it is throughout the country, that you can have something that's usable, that makes life easier instead of picking up and having to go to something in person. So using technology to not only showcase the business problems and the life problems on a day-to-day basis that it can solve, that is going to drive really how do you think about the ecosystem and the value chain that is needed to support that application. And I think the investment aspect of it, although it takes a lot of headlines around the software applications and the new app and the new fintechs that we see, and everybody can download the app and really feel it. I think you're also seeing more and more people talking about the underlying infrastructure that is needed and how can we invest in that too. So you talk about data specifically, but Africa has a very interesting story around mobile technology and how and what it was able to leapfrog with mobile technology, even before data was available, right? So M-Pesa technically relied on USSD technology and telecommunication technology instead of, internet data. And that now that we're seeing with the smartphones that more and more people are getting into, but there is a lot of investment that you see in USSD technology because it can provide offline transactions. It can make things available in rural areas. That's why you see mobile money kind of really taking off as a technology. You never think of infrastructure as part of the technology stack, but it's actually pretty critical, and telecommunication networks are critical pieces of enabling technology in the future. So I think more investment, I think access when it comes to lowering the costs, the same way we see in early stages of innovation. Some resources are more expensive at the beginning and until you get really to a scale that you get adoption, that's when you can really lower the cost. So Africa, one thing that it has going for it among many things is volume, is people, it's usage, and the market opportunity that can come from usage to lower costs and how expensive that infrastructure can be. I think you're going to see that happen over the next 20 years as more use cases come to market.
All right, thank you so very much. That was quite insightful. You talked about usage towards the end, and I think that's really very important in creating a sort of like sustainability for how data usage should sort of like the approach. All right, thank you so much. I'm going to be asking Mr. Chris Corsi my next question. And my next question is around, we've talked around, infrastructure. We've talked around, data challenges. So now let's go into a little bit of, how, technology companies can support companies, to make this happen. So we've seen that, the provision of support for technology companies will no doubt helping, in setting up technology infrastructure, right? But for you, what form of support should be provided for these companies to enable this, this development? What kind of support in particular can enable this, the conversation that we're having right now?
No, definitely. Thank you for having me, for the question.